How's it going, everyone? Mr. Boulder back tonight. Hoping that you're all doing well. And I'm back tonight with a quick review of my visit to the Bloodstock Festival here in the UK last week. Before I go any further, I just want to say thanks to everyone who has got involved in my 1,000 subscriber contest. Quite a few people have entered, so thanks very much if you have entered the contest. There's still time to enter if you haven't yet. The contest finishes on the 31st of August, and I'll be drawing the winner on the first weekend of August. So once again, if you got involved, thanks very much. Much appreciated. And now I'm just going to have a quick chat. I'm not going to go into massive details about my visit last weekend to the Bloodstock Festival here in the UK last weekend. So first things first, it was absolutely scorching. The heat was really punishing, I'm not going to lie. If you're from somewhere like Australia or Texas in the US, then you probably laugh at us Brits all the time because we're absolute pussies when it comes to the heat here in the UK. But it has to be said, it's not very often that we have really, really hot temperatures here in the UK for like 5-6 days straight. And the whole weekend we were there, it was all sort of 32, 33, 34 degrees. Absolutely punishing. Arrived lunchtime Thursday, stuck the tents up. That was absolutely hideous in the heat. And managed to catch a little bit of downtime, maybe about an hour or two before the main gates opened to the main arena about 4 o'clock. So I've been going to Bloodstock for 10 years now, and I go with my friend Paul. I'm not going to go into details, but my friend Paul's disabled, so I go as his carer with him. If you're watching this, thanks, Paul, once again. I go with you every year, and I really appreciate you helping me tag along. So me and Paul went down to the main arena, got some food, and then headed over to the Sophie Lancaster stage, which is like the second stage of Bloodstock, to watch some bands. And the first band that played that night were a band called Basement Torture Killings. Now, as well as being into music, I'm really into my true crime, so I do wonder if the Basement Torture Killings name is a take on the BTK killer back over in the US in the 70s and the 80s, Dennis Rader. Anyway, back to the music. These guys were really, really good, actually. Good start to the weekend. Death metal, pounding drums, really nice heavy riffs. And something else happened when these guys played, and I saw this a few times over the weekend. It's a good thing to see as well. A tiny female came out onto the stage and then proceeded to belch out death metal growls right from the depths of hell. Her voice was absolutely phenomenal. She was absolutely tiny, but her voice was absolutely huge, and she was really, really good. Great vocals, a good, decent band that I really enjoyed. But to be honest, they were only the only real band I watched on a Thursday night. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of wiped out from the heat and putting the tents up and in 33 degrees, So I went and caught a couple of beers. The Dark Tranquility played last. I missed the next couple of bands that played. Melodic death metal. Listened to a couple of their tunes from outside the tent. But to be honest, I was pretty knackered. So just went back to the tent and slept. Got some much needed shut eye because I'm absolutely knackered, it's got to be said. So I was up and about bright and early on Friday morning. Went down to the main stage to catch the very first band on the main stage. They were called Red Method. Completely unaware of these guys. If you're not familiar with Red Method and you're into Slipknot, then I highly recommend you check these guys out. I really quite enjoyed them, actually. They had very much an image thing going on. Red and black was their was the theme of the kind of the band members. The singer had his face painted red and black. Quite a production with their stage, actually, as well. All very impressive. Not massively into their music. It wasn't bad by any stretch of imagination. But they were really, really good. Singer had a great voice, and particularly what stood out for me was the lead guitar. I think the guy was playing an 8-string guitar, and his solos were absolutely fantastic. His fingers were flying all over the fretboard. Very, very enjoyable as a guitar player for me to see, it has to be said. But yeah, decent band. Good start to the opening band on the main stage. Catchy songs. Like I say, if you're in the Slipknot, you're not familiar with Red Method, I highly recommend checking them out. I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes because I've had to make notes because I saw quite a few bands. Up next on the main stage was a band called Heart of a Coward, who I was familiar with, but I'm not really a fan. I watched the first couple of songs, but then I bailed out after that to go and get some refreshments because it was so stinking hot, obviously. Then the next band I saw was a couple of hours later. That was over on the Sophie Lancaster stage, and that was the Punk Legends Discharge. Not so much the first wave of punk. I know they were formed in 1977, but the first album didn't come out until 1982. So more sort of the early 80s Oi era, I think. It was fantastic to see them. They're a legendary band in the punk scene. Influenced a lot of metal bands as well. You know, Metallica covered them after all. It was great to hear stuff like The Nightmare Continues, Protest and Survive. I think Anthrax covered that, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, great to see these guys. They put on a really good, energetic show. Good to hear. Because obviously they heard quite a few metal bands on there. Good to hear a bit of punk, you know, mixing up the styles nicely. Really enjoyed them. Good to catch those legends. Then up next, I had to actually miss Exodus, which I can't believe I'm saying that. But for some reason, somebody at Bloodstock decided it was a good idea to put Exodus and Heathen on at the same time. I mean, I'm sure there's very good reasons for it. But because I've seen Exodus about 3 or 4 times in the last sort of 10 years, I had to go and see Heathen in the Sophie Lancaster tent. Because Heathen don't come to the UK very often, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity. And they were absolutely phenomenal, really, really good. The band was on great form, brilliant riffs, vocals fantastic, and they played songs from all their albums. They played stuff from Victims of Deception, Breaking the Silence, and the most recent album. Probably my favourite track they played was Death by Hanging, the first track off the debut album. Phenomenal stuff. They had a good crowd. A lot of people singing along. Good stuff. Really enjoyed them. Gutted to miss Exodus, but I had to catch Heathen because, like I said, don't come here to the UK very often. Quick look at my notes. Then once they played, I went outside to go and get another beer. And as I walked past the main stage, Doyle from the Misfits was playing. His band were good, Doyle was good, but his singer needs to work on his onstage banter. To say it was piss poor is an understatement. The guy sounded bored and like he didn't really want to be there, which kind of spoiled their performance a bit, really. So I caught about 2 or 3 songs of them. They were good. Like I say, the singer needs to do a bit of work on his on-stage banter. And then the next band I caught on the main stage was Testament. Now, I was really looking forward to seeing Testament. I've seen Testament about 4 or 5 times. Always good. But the main reason I wanted to see Testament was because Dave Lombardo's playing the drums for him. Reason being is that I've seen Slayer about 4 or 5 times over the years, and every single time it was with Paul Bostaph behind the drums. Now that's no disrespect to Paul, phenomenal drummer. I mean, you know, you don't play in Slayer, Forbidden, Testament, and Exodus over the years if you don't know what you're doing behind the kit. But I'd never seen Dave Lombardo play, so I was really looking forward to Testament, and they were absolutely phenomenal, like they always are. Played a bunch of great tunes. Great to see Dave behind the kit. The lineup they've got at the moment is phenomenal. You've got Steve DiGiorgio on the bass, obviously Chuck Billy and Eric Peterson, and the absolutely fantastic Alex Skolnick on the lead guitar. For me, one of the, maybe actually the best thrash metal lead guitar player out there. Just phenomenal stuff. They were absolutely brilliant. Played stuff from across the board of their discography. A few tunes from the most recent album, Times of Creation. They also played DNR from The Gathering, which was superb. A bunch of other stuff, flawlessly executed, brilliant drums, of course. Everyone was on top form. I think these guys really should be headlining one day. They were just absolutely phenomenal, and every time I see them, that they are. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And then the last band of the day that I saw was the headliners, Behemoth, on the main stage. Again, these guys bring a great production with them. Really, really well performed. I didn't catch all their set because I was a little bit knackered, so I had to go off and get some food, and I come back and caught the last 3 or 4 songs. Nurgle sounding great, brilliant riffs, drums are pounding, superb performance. I actually saw them there headline the first year I ever went, and that year they absolutely blew me away. This performance was good, but it wasn't as good, but I still really enjoyed it. So that was Friday done. On to Saturday. Again, up and about nice and early. First band I saw on Saturday was, I think it's pronounced Based, or it might be Beast. Now, I've been meaning to catch these guys for a while. These guys were recommended to me from Liam, the Death Doom metalhead. So death metal from Denmark at 11:15 in the morning. Gotta love it. And they put on a fantastic performance. Riffs are fantastic. Frontman was very, very good. Very good engaging with the crowd. Drums were pounding. Really enjoyed these guys. A very early slot from them. It was good to see a good amount of people there waiting to see them. So it was a good start to the Saturday. Up next was a band called Pupil Slicer. They were over on the Sophie Lancaster stage. They're from London. They weren't really for me personally, but they're very good at what they do. A mix of grindcore in there, I think mathcore, as the kids would say. They're the songs were very interesting, actually. Time changes left, right, and centre, not just writing straight up conventional song structures. Bass player was incredibly good, actually. They weren't really for me, but still a good band, no doubt about it. If you're into that kind of mathcore, grindcore, that kind of thing, definitely worth checking out if you're not familiar with them. Next band up was Sister Shotgun. They were a kind of a traditional heavy metal band, really, really good. Female vocalist again, very strong vocals, straight up heavy metal, which was very much enjoyable. Then after that was a band called Mastiff, who were really interesting actually. They were a mix of death metal and kind of sludge and doom. Parts of their songs were really, really fast. And then it was just slowed straight down with really, really slow riffs. Very, very interesting. Great vocalist. Again, very good at engaging with the crowd. He had a good sense of humour. Never heard these guys before, but really enjoyed them. They were very, very good. Up next was a band, I think it's pronounced Syra. They're from Sweden. Again, traditional heavy metal. I have to say, they had a really piss-poor crowd. Not the crowd that was there to see them, they really enjoyed them, but they didn't have much of a very big crowd at all, and they deserved a bigger crowd, to be fair. Traditional heavy metal, very, very good. Vocals were superb. One of the best vocalists I heard that weekend, actually. He sounded fantastic. The harmonising dual guitars from those guys was really, really good. Drummer had the China cymbal ridiculously high up. He had to practically stretch, full stretch, just to reach the bloody thing. It was quite funny to see, actually. But they were really, really good. So quite a few good bands in a Sophie tent on Saturday, it has to be said. Really enjoyed those guys. Deserved a bigger crowd, though, no doubt about it. And then I kind of missed a few bands, because what happened next was I had 6 pints of Madry in quick succession, and then embarrassingly fell asleep in the Sophie tent whilst leaning up against the disabled platform. Woke up after about half an hour, quickly legged it outside to go and get a cheese and bacon toasty to help sort of wake me up a bit. Then I kind of looked around the site for a couple of hours because no one really I wanted to watch, and then made my way back to the Sophie Lancaster stage for the second from last band there. They were called Ferocious Dog, and they were absolutely fantastic. I'd never heard of these guys, and they were absolutely brilliant. They were an English punk band, but with definite folk influences in there. I actually thought they were Irish at first, because there was a guy playing a lot of fiddle, so it sounded like traditional Irish music a lot of the time. Another guy playing a banjo. Great crowd interaction with the singer. Great sense of humour. Really, really fun to watch. These guys were absolutely superb. Their set went on for about 45 minutes, and I was not bored at all for any of it. They were absolutely superb. Brilliant, brilliant band. Like I say, nice palate cleanser from all the death metal and the thrash and the grindcore, that kind of stuff. Really, really enjoyed those guys. They were superb. Then me and Paul went off to get some food after that. And then we just having a bit of a chat afterwards. Paul went back to the tents, and I went back to catch the last few songs of Merciful Fate. I won't lie, I wanted to catch more of them, but they were off a lot quicker than I thought they would be. Of course, they were amazing. King Diamond, I know he's Marmite, but I really enjoy his vocals. Like to see more of their set, but missed quite a bit of it, but still caught some, and it was really good, and I'm glad I saw them. So that was the end of Saturday. So the last day, Sunday. Let's go back to notes again. And Sunday kicked off with a band that were most supposed to be playing on the Sophie Lancaster stage, but got up to the main stage. They were called Scarlet Riot. Female-fronted traditional heavy metal. Really good band. Not really my kind of thing, but I still really enjoyed them. Vocals were superb. Catchy sing-along choruses. I felt sorry for the girl, actually, because she was having a lot of mic troubles. But the guy playing guitar was a very good guitar player, was providing some harsh vocals. Not quite death metal, but quite harsh. But a good band to kick off the main stage, it has to be said. I was really pissed off because Life of Agony were meant to be playing. Then they had to pull out. I think the drummer got a heat stroke in France the day before or something like that. So the next band up I saw was a band called Vended. Now, this band has got 2 guys who are the sons of Sean and Corey from Slipknot amongst their members. And I have to say, they were really, really good. I was genuinely surprised at how good they were. The singer, which is Corey's son, you can tell that he's his son. He really sounds vocally like him. And I don't know which one was Sean Crahan's son, but they were a really good band, actually, it has to be said. If you think they sound like Slipknot, they do a little bit, but they sounded way more death metal than Slipknot. Great riffs, really, really good. The vocals are fantastic. The guy puts on a good show up front. You know, he's definitely inherited a lot of his dad's traits, it has to be said. So Vended were very much a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting too much from them, but I was second genuinely surprised at how good they were. Really, really enjoyed them. Then up next for me was the band of the weekend. It was Violence, and they don't come and play here in the UK very often. And it was absolutely phenomenal. They came out and just pretty much laid waste to everything straight away. It was great to see Phil Demmel and I'm going to butcher his name, and I am Bobby Gustafsson, who used to be an Overkill on the guitars. Very strange to see Christian Old Wolbers, who used to be in Fear Factory, of course, playing with his long sort of grey hair. But they were fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Every song was killer. Sean Killen on the vocals, very good crowd participation. Everyone was on side, everyone was keen and eager to see them, just like I was, and they did not disappoint. Superb stuff for me, the best set of the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. When I grabbed a beer and came back to watch Venom Incorporated, which of course isn't Venom with Kronos, but Terry Dolan up front, and they were very, very good, playing the black metal album pretty much from start to finish, I think. Really, really good stuff. Stuff like Countess Bathory, Teacher's Pet, just absolute classics that everyone knows. On drums, they had Nick Barker, who formerly of Cradle of Filth and a whole ton of other bands. That made me laugh thinking that he was playing drums for Venom Incorporated, because it had to be the easiest payday for him in the world. If he can play the Cradle of Filth stuff, he can play Venom stuff with the one hand tied behind his back. Good to see him behind the kit. Their stuff was great, very enjoyable. Loads of people enjoying them, as it should be. They are legends, it's got to be said. And after that, I headed over to the new Blood stage to catch the band who won my local Metal to the Masses competition to play at, obviously, on the new Blood stage. And that's a band called Must Kill. And they were absolutely fantastic. Local thrash metal band. These guys are on stuff like Bandcamp. Head over to Bandcamp and look for Must Kill. Check them out. Excellent thrash metal. I'm not just saying this because these guys are local to me. I don't know any of them, so they haven't paid me or anything like that to say these nice things about them. But they were absolutely phenomenal. I played against these guys in my old band back in 2020, just before everything went COVID crazy, literally about a month before the world shut down. And I can remember these guys were on first, and literally about 1.5 songs into their set, I knew that they were going through to the next round. Sometimes you've got to be the bigger person and admit, stuff. And I have to say that my band played that night, and they played, and I have to be honest, they absolutely pissed all over us. They were so good. And it was no surprise to me that they went on to win the competition. So yeah, if you're into thrash, check out Must Kill on Bandcamp. Fantastic band, really, really good guys. Before I go any further, because there's only a couple more bands to talk about, it was Dark Funeral on the main stage. Legendary black metalers. I only caught a couple of the songs from these guys because they were playing at the same time as Must Kill. But I have to say, it's very strange to see black metal being played in broad daylight in 33-degree heat with the sun shining down on them. Doesn't quite have the same effect, of course. But yeah, they were good at what they do, and they always are. I remember seeing them there years ago, and they're absolutely punishing. The couple of tracks I saw I caught was really good, and really enjoyed those guys. And then for me, the last band I really watched of the weekend is a band I've been wanting to catch for a long time. A legendary alternative band here in the UK, and that is Killing Joke. Legends as far as I'm concerned. Been around since, I think it's the late 70s. Definitely early 80s, but I think it's late 70s. Jazz Coleman was just as eccentric as always. You had Youth there, Geordie there. Don't know who the guy was playing the drums, but he did a fantastic job. And they played a bunch of great stuff. Stuff like The Weight. 80s, really good. And they played up Exorcism, and I think it's Pandemonium, the first song on the Pandemonium album. That was the first Killing Joke album I ever heard. To see these legends live was fantastic, and I'm glad I finally got to see them, because they do play around a lot, but I've never got to catch them, and they were fantastic. Alternative metal, not strictly metal, but a fantastic band, legendary, and I'm glad I finally got to see them. And that was the last band I really watched, because the last day was headlined by Lamb of God, and I'm not a fan of Lamb of God, it has to be said. I'll give credit where credit's due, though. They're a good band. They're very good at what they do. While they were playing, I was walking around the site, just checking out the shops that was out and about, looking to buy CDs and patches and things like that. And I have to say, there was a few occasions I remember when they were playing, I was bobbing my head along to the beat and the rhythms. Like I say, I'm not a fan of Lamb of God, but there's no denying that they're good at what they do. Phenomenal stuff. And I've just remembered, I forgot to mention someone, and that was actually the band on Friday. That was the secret band that played the Sophie Lancaster tent, and that was turned out to be Machine Head. Once the rumour ran around it was Machine Head, the place was absolutely heaving. There was about 10, 15 people deep at the tent when they played. I'm not a huge fan of Machine Head either. I love the first album. They've got some other stuff that's okay. But once again, credit where credit's due. Absolutely phenomenal band. Live, they know how to bring it. Davidian sounded fantastic. They play stuff like Aesthetics of Hate as well, which is superb. But quickly going back to where I was, yeah, last band, Lamb of God on Sunday night. Not really a fan, but very good at what they do. And yeah, that's that. That's my wrap-up of last weekend's Bloodstock Festival, my review. So there we go, guys. If you weren't there, you kind of know what was going on now. So cheers for watching, as always. It's very much appreciated. I'll be back at you with a video next week. Once again, if you still got time to enter my competition for 1,000 subscribers, so head on over to my channel, watch that if you haven't seen it, and check the video out, and I shall catch up with you next week. Look after yourselves, take care, and Paul, thanks again for bringing me along with you to Bloodstock. Very much appreciated, mate. I'll see you guys soon. Look after yourselves, take care.